There's a quiet pattern running through the oldest, most productive farming systems in history. Long before synthetic fertilizers, long before packaged soil boosters, growers relied on simple, repeatable inputs that worked with nature instead of forcing it. What's fascinating is that many of those systems weren't built on complexity, but on rhythm, a steady, almost ritual-like application of what was freely available. And here's where it gets interesting for you today. Right now, in your home, you already have access to two of those powerful inputs. Used separately, they help. Used together, on the right schedule, they unlock something far bigger. Not just better growth this season, but a system that keeps improving year after year, instead of stalling out. Before we go further, take a second to like the video, share it with someone who loves gardening as much as you do, drop a comment about what you've tried in your soil, and subscribe to Nature's Flora so you don't miss what's coming next. Now let's get into what actually makes this work. Coffee grounds have earned their reputation for a reason. They are one of the easiest ways to introduce slow-release nitrogen into your soil without spending anything, but the real power isn't just the nitrogen content, it's how that nitrogen behaves. When you apply coffee grounds regularly, soil bacteria begin breaking them down. That process triggers a surge in microbial activity. As bacteria populations rise, earthworms move in to feed on them. This is where the soil begins to change physically. Worm tunnels improve aeration, their castings enrich the soil, and over time the structure becomes softer, darker, and more alive. By the first month of consistent use, you'll notice more worm activity. By the second month, the soil starts holding moisture better and feels easier to work with. But by the end of the first season, something subtle happens. The improvement slows down. That slowdown isn't because coffee grounds stop working, it's because they're only feeding one side of the system. They build biology, but they don't supply enough minerals for that biology to keep advancing. The microbes and worms are active, but they're working with limited raw materials. This is where wood ash changes everything. When trees grow, they pull minerals from deep within the soil, far beyond the reach of garden crops. Calcium, potassium, magnesium, and trace elements are all stored within the wood. When that wood burns, the organic matter disappears, but the minerals remain concentrated in the ash. What you're left with is essentially a natural mineral reserve. But the way you apply it determines whether it helps or harms your soil. Dry wood ash, scattered directly onto garden beds, often causes problems. It can spike soil alkalinity too quickly, damaging roots and locking up nutrients. That's why many gardeners try it once and never again. The transformation happens when you turn that ash into a liquid extract. So, the process is simple, but, it's really important to follow it correctly. You'll want to start with a clean plastic bucket. Never use metal for this. Then, add 1 cup of dry wood ash for every gallon of water. Give it a good stir and let it sit for about 3 to 4 days. During that time, the water kind of pulls out all the soluble minerals. What you're left with is a concentrated liquid that actually holds those nutrients in a form plants can absorb. But, before using it, dilution is, absolutely critical. Just add a small amount of this extract to a full watering can, and keep going until the liquid looks like very pale tea. That diluted solution can then be applied directly to your soil. This method delivers minerals gently and evenly into the root zone, without shocking the system. This is where the real magic happens, and honestly, it's not a coincidence. Coffee grounds feed the biological workforce in your soil. Wood ash extract supplies the minerals those organisms need to build something meaningful. When worms process mineral-rich soil, their castings become significantly more nutrient-dense. When microbes operate in a mineral-balanced environment, they become more efficient at making nutrients available to plants. So instead of just increasing activity, you're increasing the quality of that activity. The result is soil that doesn't just look better, but, performs better. Plants grow stronger, fruits develop better flavor and structure, and the soil retains moisture more effectively. Consistency is what turns this from a simple trick into a system. Coffee grounds should be applied lightly to the soil surface once a week and gently worked into the top layer. This keeps feeding the microbial life continuously. Wood ash extract should be applied every 1 to 2 weeks as a diluted soil drench. This ensures that minerals are always available without overwhelming the soil. As plants begin flowering and fruiting, maintaining this rhythm becomes even more important. Potassium from the ash supports fruit development, while nitrogen from the coffee grounds keeps the plant strong and productive. One of the biggest mistakes is applying wood ash in its dry form or using extract without proper dilution. Both can disrupt your soil rather than improve it. Another critical point is avoiding this method for acid-loving plants. Crops like blueberries and potatoes prefer lower pH levels, and wood ash can interfere with their nutrient uptake. And finally, treating these inputs as interchangeable weakens the entire system. Each one has a specific role, and skipping one reduces the overall effect. The first season brings visible improvements. The second season builds on a stronger foundation. By the third season, the soil becomes something entirely different. Earthworm populations stabilize and expand, mineral reserves build up, soil structure improves to the point where it practically maintains itself. At that stage, the need for external inputs drops significantly, not because you're adding more but because the system you've built is finally working as it should. The beauty of this approach is its simplicity. 2 free inputs, 1 steady rhythm, and results that don't fade after 1 good season. If you found this useful, make sure to subscribe to Nature's Flora, share this with someone who's serious about building better soil, and drop a comment about what you're currently using in your garden. Your experience might help someone else take that next step.